Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you how to pour some concrete curbs and a walkway for an ADA ramp. Please stay tuned and continue watching until the end so you won't miss out on any details of how you can do this type of work as well. So the first thing that we're doing is prepping the forms. I had a meeting with the inspector from the city this morning, and we had to make a couple of adjustments so we can get everything ready before we can pour the actual concrete. One of the first modifications is we had to readjust this concrete pad at the entry from the asphalt area, and then over here we had to form a concrete step. And the reason for that is because our level was too aggressive to meet the ADA ramp requirement. This is the site plan that we have. It shows the existing sidewalk and the new sidewalk. But once we had everything modified and ready to go, now the concrete came here. It showed up a little bit late, but it's better than nothing, right? So now we have the full truck at our disposal, for us to use it. And right here, we're gonna start pouring the concrete on the curb. So there's a curb that starts from the brand new garbage enclosure that we built. I actually uploaded several videos before this one, which shows you the entire process of how we were able to build that entire enclosure. But right here, thankfully now we're ready and starting to pour all of this concrete curb. This curb measures 10 inches tall and it's 6 inches wide at the top. The form on the inside perimeter, it angles in. So that means that the bottom of this curb gets wider as it goes down, or thicker, however you want to think about that. But pouring this concrete was pretty easy and straightforward. We were able to pour it directly from the concrete truck. He was able to back in straight over here, and we're just pouring it directly from the chute. Right here, this is the result after we worked the surface. We already put all the concrete in there, and we have a couple of tools that we can spread it out evenly. We have there some of the concrete float tools, and to press the concrete in there, we're just using a shovel and just kind of hitting the forms on the side with the hammer so it'll settle in. Another option you could use is a vibrator. We use that a lot as well. You basically just put the vibrator in there, and that will help to settle the concrete throughout the entire form area, and that it'll be nice and compact. But this worked perfect for us as well. There's a tool right there, the edger, that will give you that nice edge all along the surface area. So what this does is, if you run it from side to side, it will give you that nice curved edge on either side, and it will also smoothen out the surface of the curb. After this concrete dries for a little while, we're gonna remove the inner perimeter form so we can work the surface, and then at the end we're gonna hit it with the broom so it'll have a nice broom finish. Then every 12 feet we're gonna put a joint, and that's per the site plan. Now, we didn't have any rebar here. You could put rebar if you want. In our case, it was totally not needed. It wasn't called for. So in our case, it was optional. We decided not to go with it because it's completely fine how it is. This technically is only going to be one parking spot for the handicap, so it's probably not going to be used. I mean, it'll be used a little bit, but not as much as like a high traffic commercial parking area. So over here, once we poured all the curb, the rest of the concrete walkway, we're going to pour it with a wheelbarrow. And by doing it this way, we can pour it pretty quickly. And once you put the concrete, we have that come along rake. That one will help you to move the concrete. You can pull it or push it wherever you need it pretty easily. And then we have that 2x4 that we're using it as a screed. And what the screed does it allows you to pull the concrete from the surface, and it will just kind of even it out so you get it as close as you can to the level that you have preset. Then once you have the concrete screeded, you can start floating it or hitting it, you know, with your surface tool, just to keep kind of evening it out. And then afterwards, we're gonna apply the bull float. That will help us to continue to even out the surface, smoothen everything out, and just, you know, keep working it. But right here, we're basically pouring the concrete in the side entry. There's an awning directly above this, and all of this concrete, it is 5 feet wide, and we have a slope of a little over 3%. So it's basically sloping towards the parking lot a little over 3%, and from side to side it's level because it has a slope that is already taking the water down towards the asphalt. And then down at the very bottom over here where it turns, we actually have that pad that we had to reset, but that's like a little transition point right here at this corner. This area is going to be completely level, and then at that point it basically turns over there and meets with the existing sidewalk, and that has a minimal slope. But in between those, we were required to put some concrete pads that were completely level. This is that bull float that I was talking about. So once we poured all the concrete, we start working the surface with the bull float, so we can just get it nice and evened out, and then we can see wherever there are some low spots. And if we have that, we can go ahead and continue to put more concrete. So this tool is perfect because all you have to do is slide it from one end to the other, and that will kind of seal up the surface and even everything out. You'll be able to tell right away if there are some low spots, because that bull float from side to side, it typically measures like 4 feet wide, and as it's sliding across the surface, wherever it's low, you're gonna see that the concrete, it doesn't get to it, so it's gonna tell you that there's a low spot, so you can quickly get some more concrete and fill it in and just continue to smoothen out the surface until it's nice and even all the way through. And we also have those hand tools, the magnesium float. We can scrape all of the forms. So that's one thing that you're going to want to do, is make sure that you have your forms nice and clean. You know, whenever you pour concrete, it's inevitable you're going to get concrete on it, but you can go ahead and clean it out. Just kind of scrape it with that same tool, put it into the sidewalk area, and then just continue to run through the surface like we're doing right here. And then once we're going to let it dry, we're going to let it dry for like about 45 minutes up to an hour. And then at the very end, we're going to work the surface one more time, and then we should be able to do the broom finish on the top. So over here, we're almost done. There was a step. This was the concrete step that we had to create, and this was because the ramp, it was way too aggressive how it was before. We were hoping that a step was not needed, but once the inspector looked at it, he said, you know what? If we leave it like this, the slope is too much, and if somebody uses it for the ADA, it's just a liability. So we decided, you know what, let's just eliminate that. We'll make the step so the ADA walkway ramp portion is only from that side door entry, and it's gonna lead towards the parking lot. And then on this other side, it's just gonna have a step so anyone else can use it. So right here, we're starting to create the joints. That's another thing you're gonna wanna do immediately. Once you basically run your bull float across the surface and work it a little bit, you're gonna wanna run your edger. This is what you see right here. We already did it all along the curb area, and we also do it along the walkway. We'll run the edger all the way along the edges, and we also open up the joints. So like I said, the concrete curb, the joints are every 12 feet. Over here, we have this 5x6 concrete pad, and that has the line on either side on the corners. And then the rest of the walkway, you can have the joints every 5 feet or every 6 feet. That's totally up to you. You can like measure the total length of the walkway and then just divide the joints by the length that you have. So, you know, if you have a 20-foot long walkway, you can have 3 joints basically that will divide the area in 4-foot wide or long sections. This is what I mean over here. So we're already starting to remove the forms. We removed them on the one side so we can start basically working all the edges, getting a nice surface. We're doing that with the magnesium float, and this will ensure that any gaps or any voids, any imperfections that were created with the forms, we can fix that and we'll have a nice finish. And that's what you see right here. So this is after we worked all this curb. It has a beautiful texture, broom finish. We have the joint right there, and we already worked the whole curb. So this is pretty much ready. It's gonna sit here and dry, and that way we can come back the following day. That's what we usually do to remove all the forms. But that's pretty much the entire process. I hope you like this video. Please consider subscribing to our channel and activate the notification bell so you won't miss out on any videos that I'll be uploading every single week. Thanks for watching. May God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video.